Oh, gosh. Okay, guys, let's see. Where are we? 5th of May. What has been happening over the last few days has been very important. We have seen things with our own USN, our new asset-backed dollar, which is going to have United States Treasury note on it, not Federal Reserve note anymore, but United States Treasury note. That's why I call it the USTN, is going to be printed on our money, our new money, which we'll get it soon enough. Don't worry, it'll come when it's ready to come out for us. But this digital version of our USN was digitized several days ago and is actually showing up on some countries' screens, bank screens, as a USN, an asset-backed dollar. Now, it's probably more widespread than I know, but I know it's shown in Hong Kong and Costa Rica and I'm sure other countries. But what's important to realize is we have it. China has a gold-backed yuan that's digitized, meaning in a digital form, and we know that Iran actually is trying to make an announcement about Iraq because both of them have revalued their currencies, the Iranian rial, R-I-A-L, rial, and of course the Iraqi dinar, or new Iraqi dinar, as it's called. And we know that Iraq cannot announce their new currency, even though they have it, they've had it revalued for a while and had it on the CBI site, but immediately sort of took it down. They can't really announce that until we say they can, which is strange, I know, but it's just so closely held until we're ready to start, and I mean us ready, Tier 4A and B, when we're ready to start. That is as early as the Iraqi dinar revaluation is going to be seen. Now, we have sources in Iraq, and we have sources that are Iraqi Americans that have what we call the key card. It was pronounced key. It's spelled Q-I, key cards. These are their debit and sometimes credit cards, MasterCards primarily, that are loaded with a certain amount of money. And what the Iraqis are able to do is determine what the rate is compared to the U.S. dollar on these key cards. And we know that the last time we looked, since the revaluation of the dinar, which has been over a week ago now, Sunday, we've seen it kind of go up in value, and we have seen a rate approaching, but not quite as high as $10. That was a so-called in-country rate because it's there for the Iraqis and it's on their key cards. Okay? It's not going to necessarily be on a bank screen or on a CBI website. No, it won't be there yet. So if that rate holds up, is it going to be a front screen rate on our banks? I don't know. Could be. Now, we know the rial had a placeholder rate like 23 cents, but that's probably just all it was, not an actual rate for their currency, because as trading partners next door to Iraq, it should be within 5%. Should be. That's where it'll ultimately end up. It may start there, but it should end up within 5% of the Iraqi dinar. Now, so it's something to look at if some of you have rial. Now, the rate for the Vietnamese dong, we don't know. That's a tough one to always get. It's tough to actually get that for some crazy reason. But the good news is that since the Vietnamese dong came off of the Travelex currencies, it just doesn't even appear there. You go to look for it to try to get some, it's gone. It ain't there. And so there are very few people selling it still. And chances are their supplies basically have run out. They have what they have, and that's it. And, of course, when the dealers get the heads up, and they'll get a heads up 15 minutes or whatever before, maybe an hour before the rate change takes place officially, then they will be able to immediately have a program installed where they can push a button, a couple of keystrokes, and get the new rate to appear. Now, in most cases, the rate would be so high, nobody would be interested in buying those currencies anymore, because we are buying what they so-call exotic currencies. Exotics. They're not traded like at least not yet, they're not traded like the euro or the Mexican peso or whatever, you know? They're not like that. Or like the British pound, the sterling, as they call it, the sterling. But we do know that the Chinese currency, which we call the Chinese yuan, Y-U-A-N, the official trading term is the renminbi, the Chinese renminbi. And that has, like I said, revalued. And, of course, a lot of this stuff is still kept quiet yet until everything is ready to go. Now, the term gold-backed currency, we're using that sometimes, but realistically it's more asset-backed. It might be 50% backed by gold, 10% backed by other precious metals. You get my drift. It might be partially backed by oil and other minerals and even other items that would back it up. But we are looking for the global currencies to be asset-backed, all of them. And they are, or they're about to be announced as that. Now, what else is going on? We know that tomorrow, Wednesday, the so-called exotics are going to be traded, if you will. And these are places like Zurich, Bern, Switzerland, also places like Hong Kong, Miami, London, where bonds and boxes of bonds and so-called Pacellis and super Pacellis will be hypothecated and paid out, we believe, starting tomorrow. They're terming them as exotics. Okay, so that is going tomorrow. What's going on now or tonight? Starting about 2 o'clock this afternoon Pacific time, we are under the understanding that the intermediate groups, these are the fines and penalties and those groups with the Indian claims and the farm claims and all of those groups that we call intermediates because they find themselves positioned between Tier 3 and Tier 4. So they're in between those. They're called intermediates. Those groups are supposed to be in the process now of being paid out. We know that all of the paymasters' accounts are liquid as of 2 o'clock Pacific. And we understand that these paymasters and trustees are able to pay out all of those intermediate counts probably starting now or tonight or overnight tonight so that we are ready for the possibility of, I'm going to say, the next couple of days for Tier 4. And that would include the Admirals Groups, the Corps, The rest of those groups should be notified, and we should get notified. I believe they may go a little bit ahead of us, guys. They really might, and it wouldn't offend me in the very least if they did Tier 4A first. But we're hearing we still have a good shot at starting either tomorrow or Thursday with emails, and no emails have come out that I know of from Wells Fargo for our group. There were some rumors about that earlier. I did not get any confirmation of that or any proof of that. But I think those will come out at the same time that I'm supposed to get the toll-free number that I'm supposed to put out. So, could it be a late morning tomorrow thing? Possibly. Could it be Thursday? Possibly. We know that the states need to open up into phase 1. And we had more states open up and agree to open up last night that opened up today, like California, like Washington State, and several others probably. Is this an absolute that all have to open before we start? I'm not quite sure. But when I say open up, that's into essential services. That's phase 1, essential. And I think all states, hopefully by tomorrow or Thursday, could open up to that state, of phase 1. I'd love to see that, because if that is required for us to go, then we're just about there. Now, this is an essential business, and banking is essential. And what we're doing, which is going to be to fire up a spark to really rebound our economy, we're going to be the ones to sow those funds in a big way by spending. So after you get your first monies on your first appointment, I think it would be wise to start spending, but spend wisely. If you want to get a new ride, get a new car. I know many of you are going to get a new car, 2 cars. You're going to want to get a house, a new house. You can spend. You can spend some money. It's okay. We're all going to do some of that, and we're going to do it to help rebuild our economy. Get it out there. Okay? That's part of it. It really is. Now, let's talk about your redemption appointment. When I say redemption, that means for redeeming ZIM. Why are we redeeming ZIM and exchanging currency? Because the redeeming bonds that we have, the ZIM that we redeem, are bonds. And the currency that we have, like dinar and rupiah and Afghani and rial and yuan and what else? And Vietnamese dong, those currencies you will exchange. You will exchange those. Now, here's the latest. Here's the latest. This is like a bad soap opera, isn't it? Here's the latest when you go in for your first appointment. Let's say you've got 2 currencies. You've got dong and dinar because you bought them 100 years ago. No, you bought them 10 or 15 years ago. And you got some ZIM. You got a couple of ZIM notes. Okay, good. You're good to go. You got it all covered. When you go in and do your first appointment, let's say you do get some form of default rate on your ZIM, but maybe because of your projects you feel like you might be able to negotiate a higher rate because you deserve it, because your projects deserve it. Okay, that's when that second appointment would be necessary to go in, as Sue was talking about, your second appointment, which will be possibly with a representative of Abbott Downing, could be a wealth manager, could possibly, if you're a player, I think you might have a U.S. Treasury representative there. Depends on the market. The bigger the market, the more chance you'll have to have 2 or 3 people at that second meeting. And that's when you're going to lay in with your projects in more depth and get get real on it. Get serious. Look them in the eye. Let them know why you're doing what you're doing and go through all of that. All right? But here's the point. And this is not a word I like. I don't like this word cap. I don't like CAP, cap. I don't even like to wear a ball cap. All right? Here's the cap. If you go in and do your exchange, they will allow you to have up to $140 million on day one when you first go in from your exchanged currencies and from your ZIM. $140 million. Don't anybody get that wrong. Now, they would put that in an account. You could have some on a debit card. Basically, that's what you've got to spend, if you will, until your second ZIM appointment. Could be up to 10 days later. Could be 2 to 3 days, 5 days later. However you designate it, whenever you set that up, you're going to have the $140 million. Now you're going to have, as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story, because you're going to give them the rest of your story with your projects, and you're also going to get the rest of your exchange money if it exceeds that, meaning the currencies that you exchange, but you'll also be able to get access to more of your ZIM proceeds, and you'll be talking about your structured settlement, your structured payout, rather, and how many years you want to go and what rate of interest you want to earn on it, how you want to be paid on it. Mine is quarterly, meaning every 90 days. You see what I'm saying? All of that will be laid out at that second appointment where you finalize these things. And the goal is to get a rate that is a win-win-win situation. Why do I say that? It's a win for you, because if you negotiate and take the rate up from a default rate up to a more reasonable, realistic rate that you wanted to get, okay, and it's a win for the banks, because the more money that the banks have in your account, remember whose money it is? Your money, not the banks. None of it's the banks. It's all yours. It's a win for the banker because he's overseeing a structured payout of $1 gazillion or whatever it is, right? And who is the third and most important winner? The project people that you're helping. You see, the people that you help when you fund projects like Rebuild America, okay? The veterans that you help when you create a veterans retreat network that I'm going to create. I'm giving you an example. Okay, the people's lives that you seed these monies into to get to level the playing field so that people will have a better lifestyle and a better opportunity to learn and earn. Okay, all of that stuff nationwide and yes, worldwide too. But we start here. We start here at home. We rebuild the homes that have been torn down by the tornadoes. That's our first part of Rebuild America. And then we go on beyond that to rebuild cities, towns, and communities all over this great country of ours. Okay? My point is, it's a win-win-win situation. All three portions. You, the banker, wins, and the people that get the benefit of our projects win. They're the beneficiaries of this, of the most of the money. You can only buy so many cars. You can only have so many homes. You can only buy so many shoes, even though the women will have a challenge there. Just kidding. I want them to buy shoes. But here's the thing. That stuff's going to get old after a while. And what really is meaningful is, what are you doing with your life to help other people? That's where it makes sense. That's where we find our joy. Our joy is renewed every morning knowing that we're going to be able to affect people's lives in a positive manner. every day after we wake up and have our bulletproof coffee. You see what I'm saying? I mean, our life completely changes. We do a 180 after this thing goes, after our second appointment, and we come waltzing out of the bank knowing what the deal is. I'm excited, you guys. I am jacked up. And I think you guys are too. You're ready. You've been prepared. Sue has prepared you in a beautiful way. Bob has prepared you to get your health and your fitness back. I've prepared you with the concept of helping others and working with us, you know, to do these projects and how you can coordinate and affiliate with us. We're not business partners, but you're affiliates of the Big Call. You're affiliates of Rebuild America. You're going to be doing very similar things that I'm going to be doing, and we'll show you how. We'll email you what we're doing with simple step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way down. We'll create a template for you. So if you want to be part of it, you're welcome. And I'll be sending out questionnaires that will allow you to pinpoint, you know, where you want to be, what kind of activity you want to do, what maybe you're gifted in. You know, a lot of people are gifted in horses and riding horses and working with horses, and some of you are gifted with pets and dogs and what we call canine therapy. I need those people. I need you to help me with that at the Veterans Retreat Centers, the Veterans Retreat Network sites. Okay? So if you know something like that, and I know we've got several on the call, but that'll be something that you can respond to when we send that email questionnaire out to our listeners. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor it because I've talked about it for years, and you guys that have been on the call for a while know my heart on this. So I'm excited to say looks like we're finally coming down to the wire. We've had some false starts. There's been a lot of pickup and drop-off, and it's ongoing. It's still ongoing. Cleanup on aisle 3, still taking place. Had a big weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday starting at 4:30 in the morning. Boom, boom, boom. You know, it's all good. It's going to be good for us. But I want everybody to be conscious of their safety, of their security going forward. It's going to be something that we're going to take very seriously. And I want you guys to just do whatever God calls you to do. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Bob, whenever you're ready.